Good evening. I hope you guys are having a wonderful Monday. Wanted to jump in here really quick and ask you, have you ever said this to yourself or maybe to someone else? Have you ever said, I can't quit now? Not because I've worked so hard. There's no way in the world. I've sacrificed so much. It would all be for nothing if I were to give up now. Have you ever said that to yourself? If you have, drop quit in the comments for me. Guys, my name is Leah Moore, and I am a fierce feminine entrepreneur and a mentor for women and fierce feminine leaders. And I have a quick question for you. If you are joining me for the very first time, please let me know that you are new by dropping new in the comments. If you have been here before, say hi, send some love to me. And guys, I would really encourage you, or I ask you to help me out by sharing this video with someone you know today as well, especially if you find some value in the information that I'm sharing with you. So we're going to talk about the investment trap and the art of quitting quickly and failing fast. So some of you guys have jumped on a video with me earlier this month, and I actually started this new book called Brave. And I wanted to share some of my thoughts on one of the topics, which is the art of quitting quickly and failing fast. So I'm going to ask you some questions. I want to make this as interactive as possible because I don't like talking to myself by myself all day long, guys. So again, if you are new to my broadcast here, go ahead and drop new. If you're catching me on the replay, thank you for catching me on the replay. Drop replay in the comments. Let me know that you're here, where you're coming in from, and so I can give a shout out to you. So what we're going to talk about tonight, falling into investment trap. Sorry, guys, I just dropped my book. So what is the investment trap? That's the first question that might come up. Well, the investment trap is our aversion to losing or wasting the time or energy that we've put into something. And when we get and we fall into the investment trap, what happens is it clouds our judgment. Our judgment that to make decisions more clearly becomes very hard because we're emotionally tied to something. We are physically tied to something. We're maybe financially tied to something. And because we're tied to it, we feel an obligation to follow through. And you know, there's always that beautiful saying that winners never quit. Well, that's absolutely incorrect. Winners do quit. They just don't waste their time taking forever to do it. So keep that in mind. It's very important. You know, when we're compromising our judgment, it drives us to invest more. It drives us to invest more money, more emotions, more socially, more physically, more mentally. And what ends up happening is that we could have cut our losses a lot sooner. And had we cut our losses a lot sooner, I'm really wondering, guys, if I'm having issues with my sound, because I saw a bunch of you guys jump on and then nobody's watching. So I'm going to stop really quick. I'm just going to double check my own sound to make sure we're playing. And I'm going to keep going. Hopefully my other screen will let me do this. But when we could have just cut our losses a lot sooner and we would be able to move on to do something that would serve us much better, our own judgment gets in the way. And it's this investment trap is what it's called. So it's not a financial necessarily. It could be a social investment. It could be a time investment. It could be a mental investment. It could just be something that you feel really obligated to. So if that is the case, drop, you know, something really simple and as an example. An example is reading a lousy book. Have you ever read a really horrible book and yet you started the book and you're like, oh God, I got to finish this book, even though it's horrible? I can tell you guys, I actually just read one. Honestly, I didn't read it. I was listening to an Audible book. If it had not been on Audible, I will tell you right now, I would not have finished the book because I just would not have ever been able to get through it. It's not that the book was necessarily lousy, but it wasn't my cup of tea. It didn't keep me really engaged. Not to say I didn't get some really amazing nuggets out of it, and I will be sharing those with you guys soon, but oh my gosh, if I had actually had to read that book, if I had actually picked up the book and tried to read it, I would have struggled and I would have loathed that amount of time that I had wasted to do it. Or let's talk about movies. How many of you guys have gone to the movie theater and sat through a horrible movie just because you paid for it? I don't go to the theater specifically for that because there's so many horrible movies out nowadays. But I did just recently invest about 2 hours of my life watching a horrible movie from the 1980s. And I have to tell you, actually it was 1978, I believe. It was a Star Wars Christmas special. Oh my God. If you haven't seen it, don't go out of your way to go see it, guys. But I'm just, my point is that we get invested into something. When we get into this investment trap, we would have a really hard time letting go. And because we have a hard time letting go, we just, we're actually being more detrimental to ourselves than we are positive. So I've been talking this whole time. I'm actually going to get into this investment trap. We would have a really hard time letting go. So I am working just fine. I'm not going to worry about that anymore. I'm going to continue. Oh, we're actually being more detrimental to ourselves than we are positive. Let me shut myself up. Sorry. So I am working just fine. I'm not. All right. Let's try that again. We're going to go ahead and turn that whole thing off because otherwise I'm not going to get through the rest of the video. So anyways, so let's get into the rest of this. So, the question is, even though we loathe wasting time, energy, and money, what do we do? What is the next thing to do? So guys, when you're watching this, by the way, if you've invested into a movie or a book or something like that, drop movie or book in the comments and let me know what you've invested into that you just like, oh my God, I can't believe I just spent that much time watching or doing that. So how do you know when you should push on and when you shouldn't? That's a very valuable question. It's a very valid question. It's one that we all need to know. So I'm going to share with you the 4 steps to the art of quitting quickly and failing fast. Because honestly, so you want to be able to move on. You want to move forward. You want to refocus. You want to, refocus your efforts. You're on new endeavors or different paths or alternative approaches to what you are currently doing. But essentially, if something's not working, you want to move on. You don't want to stay where you're at. So if you would like to know the art of quitting quickly, drop art in the comments for me. And if you're ready to fail faster, drop a faster in the comments for me as well. So Richie Norton is, there's a quote by Richie Norton. It says, life, like creating a masterpiece, quitting is an art. You must decide what to keep and what to keep out. So this is not something that we're not even taught to quit. Most of the time we're taught that quitting is failure. And we are not, I don't know any time that I've ever, in any sport that I ever played growing up, in any event that I ever was in every business I've ever run, where they tell you it's okay to quit. They always tell you that when you quit is the only time you fail. You're a failure if you're quitting. But the thing is that you have to make a decision. And there are 4 simple questions. This is the quick art of failure, or quick art of quitting. This is the art of quitting. There's 4 quick questions that you can ask yourself. If you want to know the questions, drop a question mark in the comments for me, and I will tell you what the questions are. Granted, I'm going to tell you the questions either way, but I love to get some more feedback from you guys. So, do you, 1, have the right product or service to make it work? Pretty simple. Number 2, do you have the right people to make it work? Number 3, do you have the right skills to make it work? And most importantly, number 4, this is the absolute number 1 ingredient. Do you have the passion to make it work? If you've answered no to any of those questions, you need to go back and reevaluate those things that you're doing that are keeping you invested in something you don't need to be a part of. If the answer was no all the way across, the next question for you is, why the heck are you still doing it? Why are you still investing your time? Who cares how much energy you put into it? Who cares how much money you put into it? You're actually making yourself miserable by continuing to do something that isn't working for you. It's time to move on. So, answering these questions is being brave. If you're honestly able to answer these questions, you're being a lot braver than a lot of people. And that's what I really want to encourage you to do, is to step up and have the courage. Remember that winners do quit. They just don't wait around for years to do it. They do it quickly. I really encourage you to be brave. To answer these questions truthfully, especially when things are going tough in your business, in relationships, in your life, in love. It doesn't matter what it's in. These are questions that can be used. Do you need to use the art of quitting quickly and failing fast in your life? Guys, thank you for joining me. If you found some value in the information I shared with you guys tonight, please share this out. Share it with your friends, share it with your communities, share it with your tribe, because sharing is caring, and that's what it's all about. I'm here to help. And also, if you liked what you heard and you want to hear more, make sure that you're following me so you're getting notifications whenever I pop up. In fact, if you're watching on your phone, there should be a little thing in the top button that says follow. Turn the follow on, and you can actually get notifications every time I go live, which is typically 1 to 3 times a week, sometimes more than that, depending on the challenge I'm going on. And again, I really want to thank you, whether you're catching me live or catching the replay. Thank you for spending some time with me this evening. And remember that failure is an event. It's not a person. So you are not a failure. You can never be a failure, because failure is an event, and you are not an event. You are a person. Have a wonderful and great night, guys. Bye.